What is going on, NBA fanatics? This is your friendly neighborhood Memphis Grizzly homer, Memphis X, and I talk hoops. Today, we are talking about the Grizzlies facing the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo in Memphis for the end of this long, successful homestand. But first, every hero needs their theme music.
Piano.
Grizz gang, go hard. Baddest in the game, we be on one. I talk hoops so secure. All up on the court, but we gon' score. Memphis bringing heat straight from Tennessee. Jaren spiking, let's go, boy. He that MVP.
I can't even lie to y'all, fellow Grizzlies fans. I am super excited for tonight's game. More excited than I should normally be for a regular season game in December. But to me, this game has a chance to be a sort of franchise-altering game in the small scheme of things. I mean, other than outside of the playoffs and what you do in the playoffs and winning in the playoffs, those are going to be the big things. But as far as a regular season game goes, this game could be franchise-changing. What do I mean by that? Well, the first thing we have to understand is the Grizzlies at this moment, at this point in time in the NBA, they have what I believe is the longest win streak going right now. Let's see. They have won 6 in a row. The next longest win streak, of course, is the New York Knicks at 5 in a row. And you have the Brooklyn Nets at 4 in a row. And then you have several teams that have won 3 in a row. But, of course, we have taken the mantle from the New Orleans Pelicans, who lost their last game, to have the not only be the team with the longest winning streak in the league, but we're also in a virtual tie for first place in the Western Conference. So what does that mean? Why is it important? It's December. This is game 28. There's nothing really going to be settled by this game today. Don't get it confused. I'm not saying this game means something. I'm saying it can alter the perception of the Grizzlies. Now, if you've been watching or paying attention to NBA news, and if you're on this video, you probably have been. You've known all off season, basically since the end of the season, when the Grizzlies were eliminated for the playoffs, the Grizzlies have been kind of getting slighted by the national media and especially by other teams' fan bases. Now, we understood the other teams' fan bases. Our team, of course, is wonderfully arrogant, and we love that about our team. Wonderfully arrogant, and they kick ass and then dance and then have these crazy post-gamers, and it's just a wonderful thing as a Grizzlies fan. But I could understand being a fan of another team. It would maybe grate my nerves, especially teams with other young cores that are not as successful as the Grizzlies. They are wondering why their young core cannot be the Grizzlies. So it's understandable. But the national media is another thing. I told you guys this offseason in an earlier video that when you have a young team like the Grizzlies were last season that steps up and becomes a 56-game winning team and has the second best record in the league, it is unprecedented. It is comparable to the Oklahoma City Thunder teams that had Durant, Westbrook, and Harden, and the early Warriors teams that had their triplet. And this was before this season even happened. I told you also that the Grizzlies had a blueprint for a NBA championship. They had a guy that could be the defensive player of the year because he had already made first team all defense. Now, this wasn't speculation. He had already done it. We had a guy who had already been all NBA. And this was before Bane even broke out. So what can happen today? Today is a measuring stick against a team that is bona fide championship ready. They already have a title. They already have a ring. And most of their core team is together. And they are the second best team in the NBA right now. No doubt about it. Also, they have the best player in the NBA in Giannis. Giannis is unquestionably the best player in the NBA and one of my favorite guys to watch get interviewed and enjoy his stardom in the NBA. He reminds me of, what's the guy named, the big 7'6" guy, 7'5" guy that plays for Houston now. I forget his name, but it's some people that really understand how much of a gift it is to be an NBA player, and they show it every day. And Giannis is one of those guys, even though he's a superstar. But the importance of this matchup for the Grizzlies is Jaren Jackson's emergence as a possible Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Now, we have seen Jaren Jackson have a great start to this season, but tonight is a measuring stick for Jaren Jackson. How does he hold up defensively and offensively against the best player on the planet? Make no mistake about it, Jaren's going to be up for this game. Also, make no mistake about it, Giannis is going to try to put him in his place. Giannis is not going to forget, has not forgotten that 43-point explosion Jaren Jackson had on him a few seasons ago. Don't think he's forgotten that. And don't think he's forgotten, does not understand the hype Jaren Jackson has gotten for his defensive play this season. Giannis is a student of the game. He knows he has a teammate in Brook Lopez who is the running favorite for Defensive Player of the Year at this time. So to put the smack down on Jaren would go a long way to helping his teammate win Defensive Player of the Year, because the eyes of the NBA is going to be on this game. But also, the Warriors were just smacked by the Bucks. The Bucks also, fell. I think they had a little trouble earlier. They didn't have any trouble with the Golden State Warriors after the Golden State Warriors were coming off a win over the Celtics. And everybody thought the Golden State Warriors had righted the ship and they were coming off, and they had to figure that the Warriors would at least be competitive when they did play the Bucks, and that wasn't the case. So, but we did have the Warriors have a slip-up. The Bucks have a slip-up against Houston where they lost. They got caught slipping by them young guys. And before that, they have virtually won 8 out of 10 of their last games. So they have been doing the damn thing. So as a team, even without Bane, because I don't think Jrue Holiday is not playing in this game. So it's going to be sort of like the Warriors matchup when the Bucks didn't have Jrue Holiday and the Warriors didn't have Andrew Wiggins. So there's no super duper rest advantage. Both teams were off last night. So both teams, believe me, both teams will be taking this game super seriously. And we need to see Jaren perform against the best player in the NBA. Not just defend like he's been doing against these other teams, but when it comes to one-on-one defense, is Jaren really past the fouling issue? Because Giannis is going to test that theory. Does Jaren hold up in one-on-one defense against the best player in the game, a guy who has the greater physical gifts than even Jaren has? These questions are what I'm going to be looking for. Can the Grizzlies as a team defend a well-oiled veteran machine like the Bucks, who systematically dismantled the Warriors in their last game? I'm excited, y'all. This is going to be a big game. I expect to be strapped in, watching this game on the big screen, just taking it all in. And I hope that the refs don't muck this up. I hope the refs don't take over this game. I hope they let them play. I expect it to be a playoff-like intensity. I expect the Forum crowd to be going crazy. I expect this to be a very big game. Guys, what do you think is going to happen tonight? Will Jaren hold up and hold his own against Giannis Antetokounmpo? Will the Grizzlies hold their own against the Milwaukee Bucks? These are the questions that we want answered tonight. And in 24 hours, I will be talking about those answers. Peace.